who is also the national chairperson of ODM, Governor James Orengo of Siaya, Governor Abdulswamad Sharif Nasir of Mombasa, and Governor Simba Arati of Kisii. From the Senate, Minority Leader Senator Justice Stewart Mazayo and Senator Godfrey Otsotsi. From the National Assembly, the Minority Whip Junet Mohammed, Minority Leader and former Minority Whip Junet Mohammed, the current Minority Whip Millie Odhiambo, Dr. James Nyikal, Dr. Otiende Amolo, and Dr. Lillian Gogo. The secretary to the committee will be the Principal Secretary for Internal Security and National Administration, Dr. Raymond Omolo. It is also important to note that the government has dispatched a high-level team consisting of government officials, family, and party officials to travel this evening to India to retrieve and bring back home the remains of our departed leader. That team already has been announced by the President. It is led by the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. It has members of the Cabinet. It has members of the party, governors, and other senior officials and family members. And therefore, what has been decided is to share responsibilities. So some of you may be asking why so and so not part of this. So we have shared responsibilities. Some are helping us to go and do that important task, and the others have been left behind to speed up the arrangements for the next steps. His Excellency the President has declared 7 days of mourning, and the flags will fly at half-mast for the next 7 days within the Republic of Kenya and all the diplomatic missions abroad. It is expected that we will move very quickly in the next few hours and few days for the reason which has been communicated to us by the family of the late Prime Minister following consultations between the family and the family lawyer. We have been advised as a committee by the family that it was the wish of the Honorable Raila Odinga to be buried within the shortest time possible following his demise. And the family has informed this committee that that timeline is 72 hours. The family has also advised the committee that given that the Prime Minister died outside the country, and notwithstanding the very short period within which this process must be concluded, we are advised that the family and the ex-committee will give respect to the wishes of the late Prime Minister as far as possible, but at the same time accommodate any other nuances and contexts that are important, considering the family values and the community and society values for which the Honorable Raila Odinga stood for. In that connection, it has been decided, therefore, We will have an expedited process that balances the wishes of the departed Prime Minister, the wishes of his family, but also the community and other imperatives that must be taken into context. In that regard, it is expected that the aircraft that has left Nairobi a few hours ago will make touchdown in Mumbai at 1 a.m. local time. Will have a ground time of 2 hours and make a turnaround to arrive in Nairobi approximately 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Upon arrival, the body will be received at the airport by His Excellency the President, members of the family, and other officials, escorted to Lee Funeral Home, and at 12 o'clock, the body will be moved to the parliamentary buildings at the Central Business District, and in Parliament there will be the public viewing of the body of the departed Prime Minister tomorrow from 12 noon to 5 p.m. in the evening. At the same time, this committee has decided to help members of the public, supporters, friends of the late Prime Minister who may not make it to some of the events that will be happening tomorrow and the days to come, with public places from which they can watch all the proceedings from tomorrow's arrival to the other events that will follow until the final rituals and the final rites in the interment of our late leader. In that connection, therefore, public grieving spaces will be created in various places, especially within Nairobi, and also in other areas, as will be announced, where members of the public can follow proceedings on big screens and participate in grieving and mourning our departed leader. After the public viewing of the body in Parliament tomorrow, the body will return to Lee Funeral Home. On Friday, from 8 a.m., there will be a state funeral service of the late Honorable Raila Odinga at Nyayo Stadium. And this state funeral service is expected to be attended by dignitaries and VVIPs from outside Kenya. It is a state event, and it will be conducted in accordance with the protocols of state events to give respect to the stature of our foreign hero. That state funeral service, once concluded, will then lead to the body being moved to the current home of the Honorable Raila Odinga for overnight stay. On Saturday, the body will leave Nairobi for Kisumu early in the morning, and there shall be public viewing of the body of the late Prime Minister at Moi Stadium in Kisumu City between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. in the afternoon, after which the body will travel by road from Kisumu City to Bondo for overnight stay. The burial of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga will take place on Sunday and will be conducted according to the traditions of the Anglican Church, to which the Honorable Raila Odinga belonged. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans, that is the status update of where we are on this very
And it is indeed a sad day in the nation, in our nation of Kenya, losing a state person and a statesman in the country. And that was the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, just explaining some of the funeral arrangements that will follow up from today, saying that from tomorrow, people or the public will start viewing the body of the former Prime Minister, Raila Amolo Odinga, saying that on Saturday his body will be transported to Kisumu County, where he will be laid to rest on Sunday. Those are some of the updates that we continue to receive, and earlier on we had seen some of our leaders, delegates accompanying the family or some of the family members to India, where Raila died. And let's look at some of our top stories today. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has died. He was 80 years old. The Orange Democratic Movement Party leader died today in the Indian city of Kochi, where he was receiving treatment for an undisclosed condition. Indian newspaper Madhuthumbi first reported the news on Wednesday morning, saying Odinga suffered cardiac arrest during a morning walk at the Speed Eye Hospital and Research Center. Residents, President William Ruto announces a 7-day of national mourning and state funeral for the opposition leader Raila Odinga, who died on Wednesday. Ruto described him as Kenya's foremost statesman and one of Africa's greatest sons.
Kenya is in shock after the sudden death of Raila Amolo Odinga, the country's former prime minister and one of its most influential political figures. News of his passing spread quickly, leaving many in disbelief. Raila, who dedicated his life to advocating for democracy and justice, is remembered as a champion for the people, regardless of political differences. President William Ruto expressed his condolences, calling Raila a fierce patriot and acknowledging his contributions to the nation's growth. Political leaders across the spectrum visited Raila's home in Nairobi and Kisumu to offer their sympathies, honoring the legacy of a man who shaped Kenya's political landscape.
Fellow citizens, it is with deep sorrow that I inform the nation of the passing on of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, our former Prime Minister, Kenya's foremost statesman, and one of Africa's greatest sons. Kenya, Africa and the world mourn the passing on of a giant of democracy, a fearless freedom fighter, and a tireless warrior of good governance. Raila Amolo Odinga's name will forever be etched in the story of our republic. A story of struggle, sacrifice, courage, rule of law, hope, and of our pursuit for excellence. For decades, Raila dedicated his life to the pursuit of justice, equity, and freedom. He endured detention and persecution so that this nation might know and enjoy democracy. He championed reforms that gave birth to the rights and freedoms we hold dear today. We have lost a patriot of uncommon courage, a Pan-Africanist, a unifier who sought peace and unity above power and self-gain, an unceasing servant of the people who gave his all to the promise of a better Kenya.
The country has been overwhelmed with grief. Streets in Nairobi and beyond were filled with mourning crowds, reflecting a deep impact Raila had on the lives of many Kenyans. As the nation grieves, tributes pour in, honoring his tireless commitment to the country's progress. Reporting for Mwangaza TV, I'm Muthoni Kahato.
And Raila Odinga was one of Kenya's most influential and enduring political figures. Despite 5 unsuccessful presidential bids for years, the fireband politician emerged as a staunch campaigner and a defender of the multi-party democracy, adored by his fanatical supporters and vilified by a threatened political elite. His death not only marks the end of an era for a towering Pan-Africanist, but also leaves a significant void in the Kenya's opposition. Kenya is mourning the death of Raila Odinga, the former Prime Minister and one of Africa's most influential political figures. Odinga passed away in Kerala, India after suffering a cardiac arrest while undergoing treatment. He was 80 years old. Born in 1945 in Kisumu County, Raila Odinga was the son of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Kenya's first vice president. He studied engineering in East Germany before returning home, where he will become a central figure in Kenya's struggle for democracy and reform. In 1980s, Raila was detained for nearly 9 years during President Daniel Arap Moi's rule, accused of involvement in failed 1982 coup attempt. Those years of detention transformed him into a symbol of courage and resistance in Kenya's pro-democracy movement. Throughout his political life, Raila Odinga ran for president 5 times, coming close to victory but never ascending to presidency. Despite the defeats, he remained one of Kenya's most influential and respected leaders, admired for his resilience, intellect, and unwavering belief in reform. In 2008, following the post-election violence, Raila entered a grand coalition government as Prime Minister after his historic handshake with President Mwai Kibaki, a move that helped restore peace and national unity. 10 years later, in 2018, he again surprised the nation when he shook hands with President Uhuru Kenyatta, putting aside political rivalry to unite a divided country after the disputed 2017 election. The handshake led to the Building Bridges Initiative (BBI), a peace-driven effort to reform Kenya's governance and promote inclusivity. Even in his later years, Odinga remained active on the continental stage. In 2025, he vied for the chairperson of the African Union Commission (AUC), seeking to advance Africa's unity, economic development, and good governance. His bid reflected his enduring passion for leadership and transformation beyond Kenya's borders. Raila Odinga will be remembered as a man who dedicated his life to justice, equality, and democracy. His handshakes with Kibaki, Kenyatta, and Ruto remaining powerful symbols of peace and reconciliation. His leadership inspired generations, his persistence defined Kenya's politics, and his name will forever be linked to the nation's democratic journey. Raila Amolo Odinga is gone, but his legacy as the people's leader, the reformer, and the father of Kenya's second liberation will live on. Reporting for Mwangaza TV, Kelvin Kariba. And Kenyans from all over the country have come out publicly to mourn the former Prime Minister and leader of the ODM party, Raila Odinga. They have described him as a leader who loved peace and was genuinely dedicated to his nation. They stated that despite Odinga's failure to secure the chance to lead the nation, he was a great Democrat, and his death has been a huge blow, coming after he passed away this morning due to a heart ailment. Kenyans remembered Odinga for his selfless dedication when the nation was in crisis, especially during the post-election violence of 2007.
Kenyans from all over the country have come out publicly to mourn the former Prime Minister and leader of the ODM party, Raila Amolo Odinga. They have been describing him as a leader who loved peace and genuinely dedicated to his nation.
We present to you a leader who's run the marathon, who understands the need for endurance, the need for resilience, the need for focused tenacity, the need to never give up, to never yield ground until it's done. The Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga.
Kenya tumempoteza kiongozi shubavu ambaye kufeel hii faka ni yenye Raila amewacha ni ngumu sana. So ningeomba wa Kenya tuomboleze, na Raila alikuwa ni mtu anapenda amani.
Kenyans stated that despite Odinga's failure to secure the chance to lead the nation, he was a great Democrat, and his death has been a huge blow, coming after he passed away this morning due to a heart disease.
Hata juzi wakati aliposhindwa uliona akikuja kufanya handshake na Rais Ruto, na tulishuhudia hali ya amani Kenya hii ikidumu. So ningeomba wa Kenya tumuombeleze kiongozi wetu ambaye ametuacha kwa amani, na tujue siku moja hata sisi pia tuko kwa njia ya kwenda.
Raila alipigania kwanza, kuna session ambayo tulipata demokrasi ya Kenya. Kenya tulikuwa chama moja mpaka 1992, lakini Raila ndio mmoja ambaye alipigania mpaka ikafika wakati pia yeye aliingia chela kwa sababu ya kukomboa Kenya yetu. So tulipata demokrasi ama tulipata kutoka kwa chama moja mpaka tukaenda chama vingi ya siasa kwa sababu ya Raila. Tunakumbuka Kenya tulikuwa na shida mwaka 2007, na siku hiyo Raila kwa banda moja ama nyingine Raila ilisemekana Raila alichukua ikiketi, na mwishowe marehemu Kofi Annan alikuja Kenya, na wakati alikuja Kenya akaongea na kinara cha ODM Raila Odinga, na Kenya ikatulia. So Raila ni mtu wa amani.
Mourners remember Odinga for his selfless dedication when the nation was in crisis, especially during the post-election violence of 2007. They also recognized him for the intervening to calm the protest by Gen Z youth in 2023 and 2024, stating that he has been a leader who accepted and the need to embrace peace and unite with the leaders in peace to bring the nation. Reporting for Mwangaza TV, I'm Evelyn Wangari.
From Addis Ababa to New Delhi, Kampala to Lusaka, messages of condolences poured in, paying tribute to a man many described as a lion of democracy and a true Pan-Africanist. In Ethiopia, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed early extended condolences on behalf of his government, calling Odinga a patriot and a leader whose contribution to democracy will be remembered across Africa. Dr. Wakne Gabeyehu, Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development IGAD, described Odinga as one of Africa's most iconic sons whose lifelong dedication to justice and unity inspired generation. President of Tanzania has also sent his messages of condolences.
Kiongozi wetu wa kisiasa tangu multiparty yanze amekuwa ni Raila Amolo Odinga. Na wakati alikuwa anashirikiana na wenzetu kama Amolo kijana, lakini Amolo kijana alipoaga, yule mtu ambaye amekuwa kiongozi wetu wa siasa amekuwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Hata mwaka wa 2022 mimi nikikuja katika siasa Yeye ndiye alikuwa kiongozi wetu kwa ule muungano wa Azimio, na nakumbuka alikuja Trans Nzoia karibu mara 3 na akanishika mkono na akaambia wakazi wa Trans Nzoia wanipigie kura. Sisi tulikuwa tumejifunza siasa yake, tulikuwa tunajaribu kuingia hapo. Tunaomba watu wetu wasiwe na wasiwasi kwamba hili gari bado liko na co-drivers ambao sasa wata step in kuhakikisha kwamba hakuna vacuum. Watu wetu wasiwe watu wa kuhangaika kwamba tutaenda wapi. Hapana, tutapeana ile direction ambayo tunaenda na tunajua mahali tunaelekea. Kwa hivyo mimi naomba tu Mwenyezi Mungu akaiweke roho ya shujaa wetu Raila Odinga mahali pema kule mbinguni. Tunajua kwamba sisi wote ni wasafiri na iko siku ambayo pia tutakuja kukutana huko.
In a sad mood gripped the capital, Nairobi, and the city of Kisumu, as well as Bondo and Kibera and other parts of the country after the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who died today. On October 15th, hundreds of Kenyans trooped to Raila's residence in Bondo, marching with green leaves along roads and streets, bringing business and transport activities in the town to a halt.
Words fail me to express the shock, deep sorrow, and immeasurable grief at the news of the untimely passing of my brother, my friend, my party leader, a statesman, and a towering figure of Kenya's second liberation, and indeed the driving force behind the realization of the 2010 Constitution of Kenya. That is Right Honorable Raila Odinga. The sun has set on a true patriot and a nationalist, an indomitable and resilient fighter for democracy, justice and prosperity, who has been the leader of the progressive movement in our nation. Kenya has lost not just a politician, but a revolutionary, a visionary, and a singular force whose shadow stretched across the most consequential 5 decades of our history. For the people of Siaya and this region, including the Luo Nyanza and the nation as a whole, we have lost our patriarch, the symbol of our resilience, and the relentless champion of our political and economic rights. To the family, Her Excellency Mama Ida Odinga, the children, Dr. Oburu and his siblings, and the extended family, and the people of Siaya and the people of Kenya.
And it is indeed a sad day in the nation. The entire nation is mourning. Flags are flying half, and some of today's President Ruto's proclamations are as follows: that all flags in the Republic of Kenya will fly half, and Kenyans will observe days of mourning until Raila Odinga is ready to rest. Together with what he said, that Raila will be accorded a state's funeral with all accolades of the military. Those are some of the important proclamations that President William Samoei Ruto proclaimed today pertaining the death of the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. And we end our bulletin tonight with these light moments of the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. My name is Kelvin Karibe, and our sign language interpreter is Laureen Wamboi. Have a lovely evening.
Humor. My vision for Africa is a developed, integrated, and prosperous continent.
I want to commend the Right Honorable Raila Odinga for standing up to be counted when the country needed leaders to stand up for Kenya. Africa and the world mourn the passing on of a giant of democracy, a fearless freedom fighter, and a tireless warrior of good governance. Raila Amolo Odinga's name will forever be etched in the story of our republic, a story of struggle, sacrifice, courage, rule of law, hope, and of our pursuit for excellence.
We are all Kenyans. All and every Kenyan matters. Kenya is a great country. Kenya can transition to a first world. There's no reason why Kenya cannot move the way Kenyans equivalents have done.
May his soul rest in eternal peace. May God comfort his family. May God bless Kenya.
Sad to say I'm on my way. I won't be back for many days. My head is down, my head is turning around. I had to let a little girl in Kingston town.